there is a city spoken of in the oldest traditions of India, Tibet, China, and Mongolia. A city that appears in sacred texts but on no modern map, a place no satellite has officially located, a kingdom hidden beyond snow-covered mountains beyond ordinary human perception. Its name is Shambhala, a land of immortal beings, a place where sickness does not exist, a kingdom where enlightened rulers guard ancient wisdom, a civilization said to possess technologies beyond our imagination, telepathy, time travel, energy systems without fuel, even the secret of immortality. It sounds like mythology, and yet, in 1938, Hitler's Nazi team went to Tibet to search for it. The Soviet secret police started secret missions connected to it. American-supported explorers and mystics traveled across Central Asia looking for it. Even British intelligence investigated the mystery, and according to some claims, even the CIA quietly monitored it. Why would the world's most powerful government search for a city that officially does not exist? Tonight, we follow that mystery, not just into the Himalayas, but into religion, prophecy, secret expeditions, hidden geography, and perhaps into the human mind itself. Welcome to the mystery of Shambhala. Let's begin not with myth, but with a real mystery. In 2013, a team of researchers went to Tibet to study ancient Himalayan civilizations. During their search, they became interested in a forgotten empire called the Guj Kingdom. Long ago, Guj was a powerful and wealthy kingdom in western Tibet. This is what makes it strange. It was built in one of the harshest places on Earth, a cold desert, very little rain, almost no plants. A place where survival itself seemed impossible. And yet Guj flourished. It became rich, advanced, and deeply spiritual. There were temples, trade routes, art, knowledge, power. At its peak, nearly 100,000 people lived there. Then one day, everything changed. They disappeared. No war, no battle, no mass graves, no bodies, no clear explanation. It was as if the entire kingdom had simply vanished. When invaders entered Guj in 1673, they found only empty homes and silent cities. But beneath the palaces, they found something even stranger: long underground tunnels, deep tunnels going into the earth. Some of those tunnels appeared to lead toward Mount Kailash, one of the most sacred mountains in the world. Were these escape routes, or were they entrances? Some local legends say the people of Guj did not run away. They entered something hidden, something ancient, a secret kingdom beyond ordinary sight, a kingdom called Shambhala. So what exactly is Shambhala? In Sanskrit, the word Shambhala means place of peace. But ancient texts describe much more than just peace. They describe Shambhala as a hidden kingdom, a perfect civilization, a center of wisdom and knowledge, a land untouched by corruption, and a place where enlightened beings still live. According to Kalachakra Tantra and other ancient texts, Shambhala is hidden somewhere in the Himalayas, a sacred kingdom beyond ordinary human reach. In Tibetan Buddhism, it is described as a land of peace, compassion, and perfect wisdom. In Hinduism, it is linked to the future birthplace of Kalki, the final avatar of Lord Vishnu. Ancient maps mention it, ancient scriptures describe it, and yet no one has ever proven where it is. Why? Because every tradition repeats the same mysterious idea. You cannot find Shambhala by force. You cannot enter it with technology. You cannot discover it just by searching. It reveals itself only to those who are spiritually ready, only to those whose minds are prepared, only to those who are truly awake. The strongest and most important source about Shambhala comes from an ancient Buddhist text called the Kalachakra Tantra. Its name means Wheel of Time, and this is not an ordinary text. It is one of the deepest teachings in Tibetan Buddhism. It talks about the universe, time cycles, human consciousness, energy systems, and the path to enlightenment. According to Buddhist tradition, the Gautama Buddha himself gave this teaching to King Suchandra, and here's the shocking part: not in India, but in Shambhala itself. That changes everything, because if that story is true, then Shambhala is not a later legend. It has been part of Buddhist teaching from the very beginning, and the texts describe it in incredible detail. They mention 96 regions, a lotus-shaped kingdom, a ring of snowy mountains, rivers and exact directions, a great central capital city, and a long line of enlightened kings. This is not vague mythology. It reads like a map, almost like someone was documenting a real place, And according to prophecy, one day the final king of Shambhala, Rudra Shakran, will rise, his purpose, to defeat darkness and restore Dharma to the world. At the center of the Kalachakra Tantra is a powerful prophecy. It says that Shambhala is ruled by a line of kings, a total of 32 kings, but one king matters more than all the others, the future king, Rudra Shakran. According to the prophecy, he will appear when humanity enters its darkest time, when greed controls the world, when truth begins to disappear, when false teachings spread, when violence replaces wisdom. That is when Rudra Chakran will rise. But not to conquer the world, not for power. His purpose is to restore Dharma, truth, balance, and righteousness. The texts describe this as a final battle. Some believe it is a real war, others say it is symbolic, a war against ignorance, a war against darkness, a war to awaken human consciousness. And according to some calculations, this event could happen around 2424 CE, not ancient history, future history. Now something amazing happens. Another religion tells almost the same story. In Hinduism, there is also a final future king. His name is Kalki. He is the 10th and final avatar of Lord Vishnu. According to Hindu scriptures, Kalki appears at the end of Kali Yuga, the age of darkness, a time when morality collapses, when humanity loses its way, when evil becomes normal. Kalki is described as a warrior. He rides a white horse, he carries a blazing sword, and his mission is to destroy adharma, evil and disorder, and restore cosmic balance. Several Hindu texts say something even more shocking. They say Kalki will be born in Shambhala. Think about that. Different religion, same hidden kingdom, same future king, same final battle, same mission, to restore truth. Is that just coincidence, or is it a memory preserved across different traditions? Now the mystery becomes even stranger. If Shambhala is just a myth, why did so many powerful governments try to find it? From the 1920s to the 1940s, multiple world powers launched expeditions toward Tibet and Central Asia. Different countries, different ideologies, same target. Why? And yes, even Adolf Hitler became linked to the search. Hitler himself never traveled to Tibet, but his inner circle believed in ancient hidden power. The real obsession came from Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS. Himmler was deeply fascinated by mysticism, hidden civilizations, and supernatural power. He believed ancient Aryan wisdom had been lost somewhere in the East, and some Nazis believed that place was Shambhala. In 1938, under Himmler's orders, Ernst Schaefer led a secret expedition into Tibet. Officially, it was a scientific mission, but secretly, many believe they were searching for Shambhala, Agartha, ancient Aryan origins, and occult knowledge. They spent months measuring skulls, photographing monks, mapping monasteries, collecting ancient manuscripts, and asking spiritual leaders about hidden valleys. When they returned, they brought back more than 50,000 photographs. Then World War II began, and much of that archive disappeared, which created one terrifying question. Did they find nothing, or did they find something too dangerous to reveal? That is why Hitler's name is still connected to the mystery of Shambhala, because even if he never went himself, his most powerful occult division did, and they were not looking for land, they were looking for power. At the same time, the Soviet Union was chasing a very different dream. A cryptographer named Gleb Boki and an occult researcher named Alexander Barchenko became fascinated with Tibetan spiritual practices. They believed meditation and tantra could change human consciousness, but their goal was not enlightenment, it was control. Imagine combining meditation with political engineering. Their dream, the perfect citizen. No fear, no rebellion. Perfect obedience. They planned an expedition into Inner Asia, but before it could happen, Great Purge began. Both men were executed. Their files disappeared. Another dead end or another cover-up. Not everyone searched for power. Some searched for truth. One of them was Nicholas Roerich. Between 1924 and 1928, he traveled across Mongolia, Tibet, and Siberia. During his journey, he kept painting the same strange image, a glowing city hidden in the mountains. Again, and again, and again, He claimed he had telepathic contact with hidden masters. He believed Shambhala was real and that it was secretly guiding humanity. He never found a physical city, but he returned completely convinced it existed. Sometimes conviction becomes its own evidence. Then came Alexandra David Nael. She took a different path. She did not chase visions, she chased facts. She interviewed monks, pilgrims, travelers, collected stories, studied hidden valleys, and she reached an interesting conclusion. Maybe Shambhala was once a real Buddhist center, possibly near ancient Balkh in Afghanistan, destroyed by invasion. Its teachings scattered into hidden Himalayan valleys, a myth created from historical trauma, a powerful theory. But it still doesn't explain everything. Different seekers, different goals, same destination. So the question is, what were they all trying to find? Now we come to one of the strangest origin stories of Shambhala. According to the Kalachakra Tantra, around 159 BCE, a powerful king named Manjushrikirti ruled an ancient kingdom. At some point, he accepted Buddhist teachings and decided to transform his entire kingdom. His people were asked to follow the new path, most accepted, but not everyone. About 20,000 people refused, and these were not ordinary citizens, not peasants, not soldiers, not rebels. They were the intellectual elite, the greatest minds of their time, astronomers, scholars, mystics, solar priests, keepers of ancient knowledge. They followed older traditions, especially solar worship and advanced astronomical practices. Instead of converting, they chose exile. They gathered their sacred texts, their rituals, their scientific knowledge, and they walked north, into the mountains, into the snow, into the unknown, and then they disappeared. They never returned. According to the ancient texts, these 20,000 people founded Shambhala, not as a random city, but as a new civilization, a kingdom that blended two worlds, ancient solar science and Buddhist spiritual wisdom, science and spirituality, mind and consciousness, knowledge and enlightenment, a civilization protected not only by mountains, but by consciousness itself, a place hidden from ordinary eyes. Now, maybe this sounds like pure mythology, but here's what makes it interesting. The timeline actually matches real history. Around this same period, Central Asia was experiencing major migrations. Entire populations were moving across mountain regions. Kingdoms were collapsing, cultures were mixing, new civilizations were being born. So was this just a legend? Or could this story preserve the memory of a real group of people who walked into the mountains and created something hidden? Now comes the biggest question. Where is Shambhala? If it is real, where do we look? Ancient Kalachakra Tantra gives surprisingly specific clues. It says Shambhala lies north of India, beyond the Himalayas, surrounded by a ring of snow-covered mountains, shaped like a lotus, divided into 8 regions, with a hidden central capital. That sounds less like mythology and more like a map. So where does that map point? Over the years, researchers have proposed several possible locations. This was the favorite theory of Nicholas Roerich. Located across Central Asia, the Altai Mountains are remote, ancient, and deeply mysterious. Roerich believed this region held an entrance to Shambhala. Some local legends even support that idea. Tibetan tradition speaks of Bayul, secret valleys hidden deep in the Himalayas. These places are said to reveal themselves only to spiritually prepared travelers. Not everyone can enter, which sounds very familiar. Many Buddhists believe Shambhala may be one of these hidden valleys. Many theories point toward Mount Kailash. It is one of the most sacred mountains on earth. No one climbs it, and many ancient texts place Shambhala somewhere near it, or even beneath it. Remember the tunnels beneath the Guj kingdom? Some pointed directly toward Mount Kailash. Coincidence? Maybe. French explorer Alexandra David Nael proposed a historical explanation. She believed Shambhala may once have been centered near Balkh, an ancient Buddhist city destroyed long ago. Its people may have fled into hidden valleys, turning history into legend, a powerful theory, but still incomplete. In 2014, scientists discovered a giant hidden canyon beneath the Yarlung Sangpo, buried under ice and rock. No one knew it existed. In 2021, LiDAR revealed lost cities hidden under jungle canopies, entire civilizations, invisible for centuries. Scientists have also found buried river systems, hidden cave networks, massive undiscovered coral reefs. So, ask yourself, if Earth can still hide entire landscapes, entire cities, entire civilizations, why not a hidden kingdom? Maybe Shambhala is not impossible. Maybe we just haven't found the right valley yet. Now the mystery becomes even harder to explain. Ancient texts describe Shambhala not just as a spiritual kingdom, but as an advanced civilization, a civilization with powers and technologies that sound impossible even today. At the center of these stories is something called the Chintamani stone, a legendary cosmic jewel, often described as a wish-fulfilling stone, but some traditions describe it as much more than that, a source of limitless energy, a power source, the heart of Shambhala itself. Some believe it gave the kingdom both spiritual power and technological power, and then the descriptions become even stranger. Ancient texts mention abilities like telepathy, communicating directly through thought, telekinesis, moving objects with the mind, levitation, rising above the ground, flying vehicles often compared today to UFOs, travel between planets, and even communication with non-human beings. Some stories suggest the people of Shambhala could contact beings from other worlds. Others claim they possessed knowledge far beyond modern science. Medicine that could stop aging, practices that extended life for centuries, technologies powered by consciousness itself. To modern science, this sounds impossible, fantasy, myth, imagination. And yet, these stories appear again and again across Tibetan texts, Hindu traditions, ancient legends, modern testimonies. So we have to ask, were these just symbolic metaphors, spiritual teachings written in mystical language, or could they be memories, faded memories of a lost knowledge we no longer understand? Science laughs, but the mystery remains open. Perhaps the most famous mystery of Shambhala is this: its people are said to not age normally. Ancient stories claim some lived for hundreds of years. Others say they lived for thousands, not as gods, as humans. So how, according to the texts, the secret was not magic. It was mastery, mastery over the body, mastery over the mind, and mastery over life itself. The traditions credit this longevity to several things: advanced medicine, powerful yogic practices, breath control, deep meditation, control over emotions, and even slowing cellular decay. In ancient Ayurveda, there are teachings about rejuvenation, restoring vitality, slowing aging, and extending life. In yogic traditions, breath itself is considered life force. Control the breath, and you control the body. Control the mind, and you control suffering. Some ancient masters believed that when body, mind, and spirit become perfectly balanced, aging slows down. Some even claimed it could stop today. Modern science is beginning to ask similar questions. Researchers study longevity, cellular regeneration, anti-aging medicine, stem cells, and how emotions affect physical health. Science is only beginning to explore what ancient traditions claimed thousands of years ago, and according to the legends, the people of Shambhala had already mastered it. That is why so many wanted to find it, why mystics searched for it, why governments investigated it. And yes, why even Adolf Hitler and the Nazis became obsessed with it. Because if a hidden kingdom truly held the secret of long life, or even immortality, who wouldn't want it? At this point we face a paradox. If Shambhala is real, why can't anyone find it? Why do maps fail? Why do explorers return with completely different stories? And why do only some people claim contact? Tibetan teachers offer a fascinating answer. They say Shambhala exists on 3 levels, all at the same time. The first level is simple, a real place, a hidden valley, a physical kingdom somewhere on Earth, possibly in the Himalayas, possibly near Mount Kailash, protected by mountains, hidden from ordinary travelers. This is the Shambhala explorers tried to find. The one on the map. The second level is stranger, a subtle realm, another dimension, not somewhere else, but existing in the same place, at another level of reality, invisible to ordinary perception, like a radio frequency. The signal exists, but you need the right receiver. The kingdom may already be there, but most people simply cannot perceive it. This explains why some travelers report strange lights, unusual silence, or sudden disappearances. Maybe they touch the edge of something else. The third level is the deepest, Shambhala as a state of consciousness. The kingdom within, not found through travel, not found through maps, reached through transformation, meditation, discipline, awareness, inner awakening. In this view, Shambhala is not a destination. It is a condition of mind. You do not travel to it. You become ready for it, and then it reveals itself. This may explain everything. Why explorers disagree, why mystics claim contact, why governments found nothing, why some returned transformed, because maybe they all found what they brought with them. Some brought fear, some brought ambition, some brought faith, and the kingdom reflected it back. Maybe the real mystery is not, where is Shambhala? Maybe the real question is, are we able to see it? At this point, another question appears. What if Shambhala is not unique? What if humanity has been telling the same story again and again under different names? Look around the world, the pattern keeps repeating. In North America there is Mount Shasta, a sacred mountain said to hide a lost civilization beneath it, a hidden world visible only to certain people. In Tibet there is Mount Kailash, a mountain no human climbs, a spiritual center where heaven and earth are said to meet. Some traditions place Shambhala near it or beneath it. In ancient Mesopotamia, there was Dilmun, a land where no one became sick, no one grew old, a paradise beyond ordinary human life. In Greek mythology, there was Hyperborea, a hidden northern land. Its people lived for centuries. No war, no suffering, only peace. In Celtic legend, there was Avalon, a mystical island of healing, a place where time moved differently, only certain people could enter. In Chinese tradition, there is Kunlun Mountains, a sacred mountain paradise, home of immortals, accessible only to those spiritually prepared. Different cultures, different continents, different names, but the same blueprint appears again and again, a hidden land, immortal beings, sacred mountains, secret wisdom, and access only for the worthy. Why? Did all these civilizations invent the same myth independently, or are they remembering something? A forgotten memory, a lost human idea, a hidden truth buried deep in our collective past. Maybe Shambhala is not just one place. Maybe it is humanity's oldest memory, of a paradise we once knew, and have been trying to return to ever since. Now let's step away from mythology and look at science. Because in 1968, a scientist named John B. Calhoun created something extraordinary, an experiment called Universe 25. His goal was simple: create a perfect world, a utopia, a paradise, for rats. They were given unlimited food, unlimited water, perfect shelter, no predators, no disease, no struggle, everything they needed. At first, the colony flourished. Population exploded, life seemed perfect, a true paradise, but then something changed. Behavior began to collapse, violence increased, some rats became aggressive, others completely withdrew, mothers abandoned their young, social bonds broke down, birth rates collapsed. Eventually the colony went extinct, not from starvation, not from attack, from internal collapse. Calhoun called this phenomenon behavioral sink, a chilling idea. When struggle disappears, meaning disappears. When life becomes too easy, society begins to decay. And suddenly this scientific experiment sounds strangely familiar. What if the same thing happens to civilizations? What if paradise is not stable? What if perfect societies destroy themselves? Maybe that explains why hidden kingdoms disappear, why legends say golden ages always end, why utopias vanish. Not because they never existed, but because they were fragile, too perfect to survive ordinary human nature. Maybe Shambhala did exist, and maybe it vanished, not because it was defeated, but because paradise itself could not last. After everything we've explored, the ancient texts, the hidden maps, the lost kingdoms, the Nazi expeditions, the Soviet secret projects, the mystics, the prophecies, one final question remains. What if Shambhala was never hidden by mountains? What if it was hidden by consciousness? Maybe the problem was never location. Maybe the problem is us. The Nazis looked for power. They believed Shambhala could give them hidden knowledge and control. The Soviets looked for human engineering. They wanted to use ancient wisdom to control the mind. Mystics looked for proof, validation, a sign that their visions were real. But according to the teachings, that is exactly why they failed, because Shambhala does not open for greed. It does not open for ego. It does not open for domination. The gate opens only through transformation. The texts say, you cannot force your way into Shambhala. You must become the kind of person who can perceive it. That changes everything. Maybe Shambhala is a hidden kingdom in the Himalayas. Maybe it exists in another dimension. Maybe it survives in forgotten valleys, or maybe it has been inside us the whole time. The Kalachakra teachings even give a timeline, a future date, roughly around the year 2424, a time when greed dominates, truth collapses, violence spreads, and humanity forgets who it is. Then, the final king of Shambhala appears, Rudrashakran. But maybe he does not come with armies. Maybe he comes with teachings, with awakened minds, with people who remember what humanity was meant to become. Maybe Shambhala does not appear because a kingdom rises. Maybe it appears because humanity becomes ready. As children, we think treasure means gold, lost cities, hidden tunnels, ancient maps. But as adults, we realize treasure may mean something deeper: perception, awareness, wisdom, the ability to see what was always there. So maybe the question is not, where is Shambhala? The real question is, who must you become to enter it? Maybe the kingdom is not lost. Maybe we are. And maybe Shambhala has been waiting for us all along. Keep seeking truth. Subscribe for more hidden mysteries. And tell me in the comments, do you think Shambhala is real?